am I doing for you today? I have to be honest, I haven't scrapped for a couple of days and I was just itching to get back in here and get something done. I wanted to do something with an embossing folder today. I haven't used my embossing folders for a little bit and I bought this particular one. It's from KAISERCRAFT and it's called Geo Lines. That's what it's called. So I'll have everything listed below. Don't stress about writing everything down. Now, basically what I did is I was pretty much just making this up as I go. Today, okay, hang on, rewind. I'm trying to get better at telling you where I get my inspiration from. So in these photos, Jen's flexibility is on display, and the one thing that I noticed in the photo, other than obviously the fact that I was taking it off her, is the security screens on the windows. So that's kind of where I loosely got my inspiration from. So I pretty much, the colours I chose were the pale colours in Jen's outfit. Now, work with me here while I have a little bit of a play. This is where I'm just having a bit of a play with a couple of different mediums. This one is the Montmartre gesso, white gesso. And I wanted to have a look and I wanted to see what it would be like if instead of prepping your page with gesso and then using the colour on top, what would it be like if you used the medium, so to speak, and mix it with the ink? And I wonder what that would do on the cardboard, on the, your cardstock. So I had a bit of a play and I put it down. I used a couple of different ones. So I used the Montmartre gesso and the white gesso, and it's the smooth one. And then I used the Ranger, I used the Finnabair Art Basics clear gesso, and I used the Ranger texture paste, the transparent matte one. And I was actually really surprised. So I know I sound like I'm in shock. I'm not in shock, but I'm just, every so often I try and use a product in a way that it probably wasn't intended. Like gesso is designed as a prep, while I'm rummaging through my stencils here. It's designed to prep your paper to protect it from moisture. So you can add a lot more water or wet mediums to your paper or your cardstock without warping everything. So I thought about it and I thought, well, if I'm prepping it and then adding the colour on top of it, what if I don't want the colour to look like a Distress Oxide sort of wet look? So I did this and I ended up running with the Ranger texture paste. It's the transparent matte one. And as you can see, I've got the 4 different inks that I chose, which are Spun Sugar, Milled Lavender, Tumbled Glass, and Squeezed Lemonade, sorry. And I'm just putting it through my stencil. Now I've sprayed the back of my stencil and with some Crafter's Choice spray adhesive. It allows it to be, look at that. Oh my goodness, I was so excited when I did that. And I just wanted it to be the random colours because her outfit is kind of tie-dyed, but it's very pastel colours. So I wanted to have that in my background. Now, whenever you work with texture paste, putting gesso through, anything like that, you need to clean your stencil ASAP. I know I can be lazy with my stencils, but when it comes to texture paste, you do not have 5 minutes to waste. You have to get it off straight away. So now I am reusing this piece of packaging. This is what I use because I use the packaging because I get lots of it. But second of all, one, I've already paid for it because it came around my product. But 2, cleanup is easy. I'm not trying to clean trays. I'm not trying to do all that sort of thing. I'm not flushing it down a drain or anything. I'm being as environmentally conscious as I can possibly be with this particular product. Right. Now, this is where I decided then that I would go along and I'd try and I did this similarly on something else a while ago, just to create texture on the main letters of my title. I like it, but I don't love it. Would I have done it again like this? No. This particular stencil, whilst it looks great on the background, it's just a, it's honestly, it's just a, you can't read what it says. It's just scripty font. On a big background, perfect. Like that, it looks perfect. But when you shrinky dink it into the letters, the font was too big. It was too chunky. But that's okay. I still use it. Don't stress. I don't throw it away. I'm just not as happy with it as I first thought I would be. So then what I did is I decided, how can I do something different with this embossing folder? So because I like using a lot of geometric shapes and lines and circles, I don't know why, but they're calming for me. If there's a shrink out there watching this, man, analyze that. I just like looking at the different lines and the different directions and all that sort of thing. So I sat here with it for a bit, and I don't cut it out. I leave it in. So you're literally seeing what I did. I have sped it up, obviously, because you don't want to sit here for 3 hours watching me scrap at my slow speed. So I just wanted to sort of create a really odd shape around it, but it's all embossed. So it's creating more texture on top of the texture of the words. And to say that I knew this was going to work out, that's a big porky pie, because I had no idea. I genuinely, sometimes when you scrap every single day, for me personally, I scrap 5 days a week minimum. Now, when I have a couple of days off, I sort of got to get my mojo back. I've got to kind of get my it's not my mojo, it's kind of more like get my head back in the game sort of thing, like get my colors back in my head and work out what I'm doing. So today I was having a little bit of a play, and I was, running my daughter to work and all that sort of thing, and it was just, my brain was sort of all over the place, a little bit haphazard, and that's totally okay. We all have days like that. So I didn't really know where this was going. I had an idea in my mind that I wanted to do something with, see how it sort of looks all geometric and sort of messy in the background. Like it's not perfect squares. It's not perfect. I do mat the photos, but I wanted to make it so the outside edges of the photos kind of resemble the security screen. I know, you're probably all laughing at me, but I have promised that from this point forward, I will start telling you what inspires me. And sometimes it comes from a really quirky place. So that's what I'm thinking. Yes, the geometric shapes are not perfect diamonds like my security screens are, but it gave me that vibe. It gave me that feel, and that's okay. When you're looking for inspiration, it doesn't necessarily have to be, it could be the fact that your child's playing in water, so you want to make everything in the photos and around the photos wet looking, so you might reach for glossy accents or some clear texture paste, but in a gloss instead of a matte finish, you get the glossy finish, The other thing that I did is, if you've got some of these, mate, you're an old-time scrapper just like me. This stuff is so old, I don't even think you can still get it anymore. My daughter just bought me a coffee. Did you see that? Oh, so heavenly. Now, all I'm doing is running around with my finger. Now, I am putting it on the back of my hand because you kind of, it's called metallic rub-ons. That's what it's called. And there's nothing else on there. There's no other packaging on there. There's no other labels on there. But you kind of got to warm it up, and that's why I'm using my finger. And you can use it I use it on a Q-tip as well, and I do that, but I wanted to try and make it a little bit more rustic looking. And this is me trying to wash it off with water. Of course, it's not going to wash off with water. It's wax. So I cleaned it off. That's fine. Now it looks like I've got a bruise on my hand. I don't. It's just crafty time. So now I'm trying to go, okay, let's just join these together and see what it looks like. And I like that. I really like, I know it's abstract and some of you guys hate abstract, and that is totally okay. It's just something else to give you inspiration. Whether you look at maybe you might look at your windows differently. Maybe you might look at an activity that your child's doing. Yeah, she's literally flexing and doing 180 splits up a wall. Like, I could have gone down that route, but I decided to pull something else from the photo to give me the inspiration. So now when you see the gold around it, see, it makes it it sits up off the scripty bit in the background. So you're not trying to read that. It did cut. I love the way that turned out in the background. And to be honest, I will probably do it again because I absolutely love how those colours just melded together, and they where they crossed over with the pink and the yellow, it sort of turned orange, and the blue and the yellow went a little bit green, and I absolutely love that. It was so much fun. So don't be afraid to, and it wasn't that messy. Honestly, it really, really wasn't. I didn't even have to get up and get extra cleaning supplies at all. It was really good. Now, all I'm doing there is I just ran a little bit of gold. You can't really see it. Maybe in the close-up photos you can see it, but can you see there? I dropped some of the waxy rub on, and all I did, it did take a couple of goes, but I just used my ink eraser. I waited for it to dry, and then I used my ink eraser, and I ended up, I'm sorry, I'm texting there, that was a bit rude. And I just gave it a bit of a scrub with that, and it took it off. So I was really surprised with that. You can still see a little bit of a mark there, but it's a mixed media layout. No one's going to be focusing on that down the track. So this is where I literally had already cut out, before I even started my layout, which I normally do it the other way around. I do the layout and then I think of the title. But I did it this way this time, and I'm glad I did. The reason, okay, my Cricut cut it out perfectly. It's just because I used the texture paste on top of it, and I didn't want to move it until it dried. So obviously it sealed up the cracks. It didn't rip at all. It was really easy to pull out. It wasn't a problem, but I was just doing it cautiously, so I didn't trash anything. Now, if you can see the letters, I'm really not happy with how sparse the lettering is on there. So I went, you know what? Let's just paint them. Who cares? Let's just paint it. See what happens. So as per usual, stick them down to my Cricut mat, and I just grabbed me some. So I'm just using my packaging again, smushing it down. I'm not adding very much water to this. I'm just literally whatever water is in my brush. And yes, I foolishly have used my good water brush with my Distress Oxides. So guess what I'll be buying in the very near future? Okay, I do not know what happened with that. I think there was some metho in the water and it reacted really badly with the ink. So I had to start again. And that was okay. My daughter, a little bit of a cameo there. Thank you, Taylor, for cleaning my water dish out. She was standing there talking to me, by the way. So I just went through and I just painted splotchy sort of where the letters were. I didn't know initially. I wasn't sure if the oxide would react with the water, but because it's mixed with the texture paste, it didn't react at all. So it was fine. And I just went through and coloured them with the matching coordinating colours. And I was really happy with them. Then it was all good, and I gave them a quick dry, and they were sweet as, ready to go. Now, I do have I just did come through and sort of blend in between the colours a little tiny bit, just so they weren't so splotchy. And then I decided what colours, that's right, I glue it down first, and then I come through and do the check mark box. So I'm much happy with it, like much happier with it like this. I'm just using my art glitter glue to glue it down, and you don't need much. Like, this glue lasts you forever because it doesn't, you just use the tiniest bit. Look, quite often I go way heavy-handed, and there's no need for it. To be honest, I just waste product sometimes, but that's all right. So what are you guys up to? This is the week before school goes back. Before Christmas. And geez, school goes back. Man, my kids got 1 week of Christmas holidays. Can you imagine? Could you hear them now? They would be yelling at me. Anyway, so lead up to Christmas. I'm voiceovering this on Monday. This video is going up on Wednesday. Obviously, if you're watching this way down the track, ignore my days and dates. Yeah, so we're pretty much organised for Christmas, and I say we're organised. I've bought everything that we need, but I have done no elfing yet. No elfing. So, unfortunately, that's all right. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. So, I am now... Oh, this is where... Okay, so I glue it down. And it's when I put it down, even though, like, looking at this, I sort of went, the gold does separate it. But because I added the black, I love doing a complete contrast. I might do some contrasting with different colours, because I apologise. Sorry, my computer, I've got my phone on silent, but I keep forgetting that my husband is connected, because I have all Apple stuff. My husband works with Apple, so, and the thing is, he's connected all my devices, so I put my phone on silent thinking, well, my phone's on silent, so nothing's going to happen. Guess what? That doesn't happen, because then the messages come through my laptop or come through my iPad while I'm talking to you guys. So, okay, so I've gone ahead and I've matted the back of the 12x12 layout. And then I realised that maybe it just needs a little bit more black to tie it all in together. So I pulled out my POSCA paint pen, trusty old POSCA paint. Though I cannot say it enough, if you haven't got one, get one, give it a try. Even if it's just one. And give it a try for your little accent bits. They go forever. This little fella that I'm using at the moment, I've done a lot of line work with him, and he's still going. I think I've only gone through one white one and one black one this year. And you guys know, I've done a lot of videos, like a lot of videos. I think I have. I'm just going to have a quick look so I can see. I have no idea. I can't read. Yes, I can. Content. Let me have a quick look to see, maybe something like 200 and something videos. That's crazy. That is legit crazy. But it's what I do. So now I have rabbited on and waffled on, and here's the close-ups for you. And I will have the close-up photos for you over on the Facebook group and on Instagram. If you want to check them out there, have a go. Use one of your embossing folders. If you don't have an embossing folder, do something that I actually was looking at the other day. You can actually use like a stencil. You can do it like that sometimes. So I haven't done it yet though, but I'm keen to give it a crack to see if it's something that, you guys could save a little bit of coin on and get double use, do double duty. So just pointing out the gold on there. So yeah. So if you haven't already subscribed, please like, subscribe. It helps my channel out big time. Leave me a comment and I will be back to chat to you tomorrow. Thanks for now, guys. Bye.